Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to talk about a story that has been on everyone's lips in recent weeks. A story involving two of the most beloved figures on Turkish television, Yaman and Sarah Bluma. If you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to do so and activate notifications so you never miss any updates. Recently on social media, Yaman and Sarah Bluma's life seemed perfect, full of radiant photos and happy moments shared with their millions of followers. However, behind the screen, something was brewing. Something that would change everything forever. It was a conversation that started simply but unleashed a huge storm. Sarah, true to her style, shared new details of her daily life with her followers, just as she always had, without filters or barriers. For her, social media wasn't just a promotional tool, but a space where she could be herself, showing her life without fear of others' opinions. But for Can, things were different. While Sarah posted, he couldn't help but express his concern, saying, "Everyone's watching you. You don't have to share all of this." Can's words echoed loudly in Sarah, and in that moment her smile faded for a second, reflecting a mixture of surprise and confusion. Why didn't he understand that this was part of who she was? Sarah felt that on social media she could show who she truly was, without hiding anything. "On social media I am myself. Not everything has to be a secret," she responded firmly. But Can, always protective, saw social media differently. He was concerned that being so exposed, her personal life was under constant scrutiny. To him, social media was a field where clear boundaries should be set. While for Sarah, transparency and honesty were the most important, even if that meant constantly being under everyone's eyes. This disagreement did not go unnoticed by their followers. Comments began to fill their social media. Some supported Can, arguing that privacy was important, while others defended Sarah, saying she had the right to share whatever she wanted with her community. Sarah, in response, posted a photo with a smile that seemed like an indirect message to Can. "I know who I am, and that won't change. If you follow me, it's because you care about my authenticity, not my silence." It was her way of reaffirming her right to be herself, regardless of what others thought. Meanwhile, Can continued to observe in silence, reflecting on what had happened. As the weeks passed, the tension remained. Although in public, everything seemed normal in private, the conversation about social media usage continued to be a recurring theme between them. Every time Sarah posted something new, Can felt he was losing control over his private life, while Sarah felt that he didn't trust her to manage her own online presence, which frustrated her. This episode left a lesson for both. Can realized that social media wasn't just a place to show what people wanted to see, but also a way to communicate genuinely. Sarah, for her part, began to reflect on the limits of privacy and how her digital life could unexpectedly influence their relationship. Although they tried to come to an agreement, their views on social media remained different. While one saw a space where there should be boundaries, the other saw a platform to be authentic without restrictions. And so, what started as a simple conversation became a crack that grew over time, showing that social media, which once served as a tool to bring them closer, now seemed to create an invisible barrier between them. The story of Can and Sarah reminds us that social media, although a reflection of our lives, can also reveal the most fragile points of our relationships. In this case, the differences in how both saw their digital presence were deeper than they imagined. And although they tried to find a balance, the differences in their approach remained evident, making it clear that love sometimes also has its limits in the digital world. Sometimes I convince myself that true greatness is not in those who raise their voices the most or constantly seek attention, but in those who choose silence when everything around them screams. And if there's one woman who has stood tall, with her head held high, and without losing coherence, it's undoubtedly Demet Özdemir. Demet is one of those figures who doesn't need to defend herself with words. Her strength lies in her gestures, in what she conveys without responding to provocations. In the midst of the media storm surrounding her lately, she has chosen a brave stance, to not fall into the vulgar or unnecessary. While some insist on dragging her into scandal, she continues to walk with serenity. Many remember her fondly precisely for this, because she knew how to build her path with discretion, without resorting to noise or forced headlines. And now, when her name is once again circulating in conversations tinged with controversy, her dignity remains intact. While others expose every corner of their personal life, Demet chooses to protect herself, focusing on her career and what truly contributes to her growth. The comments clearly reflect this. One said harshly but also truthfully, "Is this the woman he left Demet for? She has neither her charm nor her distinction." And although it may sound harsh, For many, it is nothing but the confirmation of a reality. Demet represents elegance, values coherence, and this cannot be improvised or copied. And indeed, she never needed to show more to grab attention. She never built her image from scandal or used her relationships as a springboard. Hers has always been effort, respect for her space, for her intimacy. And that, in these times, is valued more than it seems. While some cling to the lights even if through chaos, Demet shines from sobriety. Her silence, far from being a sign of weakness, has become her best statement. She doesn't need to justify anything, nor clarify what she hasn't said. And therein lies her true strength, in not playing the game of those who only seek spectacle. Those of us who have followed her for years know it. We know that behind her gaze lies a story of perseverance, of setbacks overcome without making noise, of decisions made with maturity. Demet has never been part of media farces or screens that disguise reality. Hers has always been real, even when the whole world seems to prefer lies wrapped in glitter. Some even remember that, while certain people abandon responsibilities to pursue fame or empty emotions, she has never stopped being faithful to her principles. What she has built, she has done on her own, without relying on others, without exploiting any male figure to pave the way. And that, for me, makes her someone worthy of admiration. If she ever suffered, she faced it with composure. If she ever felt betrayed, she preferred to remain silent rather than get involved in the public fight. Her silence has said more than 1,000 statements. Because in the end, time puts everything in its place. And for her, time is elevating her while others are lost in their own noise. Demet Özdemir doesn't need to shout who she is. She has already shown it with every choice, every measured step, and every gesture of respect toward herself. That's why, while some wear themselves out maintaining an image created through controversies, she continues to move forward firmly toward a place built with truth, discipline, and dignity.